Respected sirs, esteemed speakers, and my dear friends, welcome to this webinar. Once again, I hope you enjoyed the journey of Indian Railways. First things first, I am Vijay Malviya. I am Professor Signal and Telecom here in National Academy of Indian Railways. I am 2005 exam batch officer of Indian Railway Services of Signal Engineers. I stand before you today with great pleasure and anticipation as we gather here to explore the fascinating concept of metaverse and its potential applications in the realm of Indian Railways. The metaverse represents a paradigm shift in how we interact with the digital world and how its impact is coming on various industries. In its essence, the metaverse is a virtual reality space, an interconnected universe of digital worlds that blurs the boundary between the physical and virtual realms. It promises us a future where we can transcend the limitations of time and space, where we can collaborate, communicate, and create in ways we could only once have imagined. The metaverse holds immense potential for transforming the way we operate and experience our railways, and it is imperative for us to embrace this technology-driven evolution. The railways, with its vast network and millions of passengers, can greatly benefit from the metaverse applications. Imagine a world where the journey begins long before one steps foot on a train. Through the metaverse, we can provide immersive experiences to our travelers, allowing them to explore virtual replicas of train stations, plan their journeys, book tickets with the utmost convenience. Passengers can visualize the train interiors, select preferred seats, and can even interact with the fellow travelers, fostering a sense of community. Furthermore, the metaverse can be harnessed to enhance railway safety and training. Through simulated environments, we can provide realistic scenarios for training our railway staff, ensuring they are well equipped to handle various situations. Maintenance and troubleshooting can also be streamlined by creating virtual replicas of railway infrastructure, enabling engineers to identify issues and devise solutions before they arise. To illustrate the transformative power of metaverse, let us look at some of the examples from the business world. Facebook, one of the pioneers in this domain, has been actively investing in the development of metaverse. They envision a future where people can work, learn, and socialize in virtual spaces. In fact, the application of the metaverse extends beyond individual industries. From real estate to entertainment, from healthcare to education, organizations across the board are recognizing its potential and are actively exploring its possibilities. Well, we have a wonderful team of speakers today who will be enlightening us more on this topic and how we can use this technology in our behemoth organization. That is the main topic of today's webinar. Just before moving ahead, let me read some of the instructions which will help you. As that we have already tested our system. In case you are getting no audio, then kindly check your system at your end. We have already tested our system. It's working. And if you have any difficulty, kindly contact Mr. Mohit. I have already shared his number on the WhatsApp group. All the participants are muted and your cameras are off. It has been done by the host. So kindly do not try to unmute yourself. But yes, in case you have any question, you can simply write it in Q&A. For any other issues, kindly write in the chat box. And friends, most important, we have painstakingly called very reputed expert speakers from industries to deliver this session. Kindly hear them with focus and childlike inquisitiveness. Do not let your other engagements. I know that railway officers, supervisors, all are very, very busy. But when you are here, kindly be here from mentally and physically for another 2 hours. And I'll tell you, you will not repent this session. No recording will be shared with you in future. So you will have to grab whatever we are showing you right now. And one more thing which, I'm so elated to share, like in my previous workshop, this time too, we will be sharing you the phygital NFT certificates for your participation in the webinar. You will be getting the NFT certificates. Welcome to the fascinating world of blockchains. Courtesy, ChainCode Consulting. They will be elaborating more on this. Now, let me hand over the baton to the charismatic Ms. Neha Upadhyay, who will be our anchor and host in today's webinar. Miss Neha, over to you. Thank you. Have a great learning. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Vijay, for introducing me to the audience. And with that, let me start with the session. So good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you to today's webinar on Metaverse and its specific applications in railways training. As you know, I am Neha Upadhyay, People and Culture Representative from ChainCode Consulting LLP. Honored to be your host for this enlightening session where we will explore the exciting possibilities that the Metaverse brings to the world of railways training. Before we start, I would like to extend my gratitude on the behalf of ChainCode Consulting to National Academy of Indian Railways, NAIR, for partnering with us to have the webinar on the concept that has been capturing the world's attention, the Metaverse. I'll just take a moment to share my screen with you guys. Allow me a moment. I am hoping my screen is visible to you guys.
Yes,
So
it
yeah,
is.
thanks, Vijay. So coming back to the word metaverse. So also we are fortunate to have esteemed partners, Google and Polygon Labs, who are joining us today. They bring their expertise in technology and innovation to help us understand and embrace the potential of the metaverse. You may have heard the term being thrown around in the conversation, news articles, or even in the popular culture. At its core, at its core, the metaverse represents a new frontier, a digital realm where virtual and physical realities converge. It is a concept that has the potential to reshape the way we live, we work, we connect with one another. Now, you may be wondering, what does a non technical person like me have a role here? I am from a background of people and culture. So, well, my friends, being associated with chain code from past few months, I am listening few terms very frequently. Terms like metaverse, multiverse, Web3, virtual reality, and so many others, which generally go as it was from my head. But there is this term metaverse, which is somehow got stuck in my mind. And other day, I was thinking about this. I was thinking what this metaverse is, which they keep on talking about. Then, out of curiosity, I searched about it, and what I understood is the metaverse is the digital personification of Maya, a illusory world, right? So, world like which we used to see in the television series based on the epics, like Swarglok, Patalok, Naglok, and so on. So yeah, it is there. So well, I got amazed to learn this and was thinking that is it actually possible? And the answer I found is yes. Yes, it is possible in the world of metaverse. Isn't it exciting? So let's get dive in the world of metaverse. But before we start, let me give you a walkthrough of how we have scheduled this event for you today. With that, I am moving to the next slide and I'll give you a walkthrough of the agenda of this event. So in the start, we'll be having Mr. Alok Gupta, founder and CEO of ChainCode Consulting, who will give an overview of the metaverse. Then we'll be having Mr. Shriyank, strategy consultant at Polygon Labs, who will be discussing the use of metaverse in railway training and maintenance. Then we'll be having Mr. Anand Kulkarni from Intel, who will talk about powering the metaverse compute in seamless way. Next in row, we'll be having Mr. Vishal Patil, who is a metaverse expert at ChainCode Consulting, and he'll share his perspective at metaverse for railway, freight logistics, establishing product provenance and traceability. Post that, we'll be having Mr. Nitin Gupta from Google, who will discuss enablement of metaverse at a scale through Google Cloud, Web 3.0, and artificial intelligence. Post which we'll be having Mr. Hansraj Rami from ChainCode Consulting, who will throw some light on metaverse and railway tourism. Pardon me for my background. There's a light cut over here, so it will be back in a moment. And it's back. So yeah, and moving to the next agenda line, towards the end of the session, we'll be having question and answer session in which we'll be picking the questions already collected from the audience. So with that, let's without having delays in this session, I'll quickly like to invite Mr. Alok Gupta over here on the stage. So Alok is the founder and the CEO of ChainCode Consulting. You are an expert of the field of enterprise blockchain and emerging technologies. You have over 20 plus years of experience in developing and getting robust applications to the market. You possess extreme passion for solving real world problems using cutting edge technologies. So we are honored to have you, Alok, here, and the stage is all yours.
Thank you, first of all, Professor Vijay Malviya, for a brilliant welcome note, and Neha for hosting this fantastic event wonderfully and introducing us to the esteemed guests. Hello, everyone. I am Alok Gupta, an emerging technology evangelist and the founder and CEO of ChainCode Consulting. ChainCode is renowned for reimagining digital interactions with emerging technologies like blockchain, AI, and IoT, ushering a new era of trust, transparency, and automation. I hereby extend my warm welcome to all of you to the much awaited webinar on Metaverse and how it will transform Indian Railways with experiential learning. I am thrilled to have such an esteemed panel of experts joining us today to share their insights and expertise in this groundbreaking field to captivate and inspire all of us. Metaverse is becoming a new reality. For those who are new to it, let me just introduce Metaverse in layman terms. Metaverse is like a big, immersive virtual world where people can explore and interact with. It is much similar to the internet that we use every day, every moment. Just that instead of browsing the web pages, you can actually be inside the virtual space. You can interact with the people and generate and computer generated environments. This can be a game changer in training, in especially in terms of in case of railways, where we see so many complexities are there. Today, we gather here to explore the specific applications of metaverse in context of railways training. With ever-growing complexities of railways, it becomes crucial to leverage emerging technologies to enhance training methodologies. I am delighted to welcome our distinguished panel of speakers who bring their unique perspectives and expertise to the table. Shreyank from Polygon, Anand Kulkarni from representing Intel, Nitin Gupta from Google, Vishal Patil and Hansraj from ChainCode. Each one of you brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in your respective domains. I am truly grateful for your presence today. Your valuable contributions will undoubtedly enlighten, inspire, and empower all our attendees. I am confident this webinar will be a catalyst for new ideas, collaborations, possibilities in the realm of railways training. I encourage all our attendees to actively participate, engage, and explore the potential of metaverse and make this actually a new reality. On behalf of ChainCode Consulting, I extend my heartfelt wishes to all our attendees. May this webinar be a transformative experience, providing you with profound insights and actionable strategies. Let us embark on this journey of discovery and create a future where railways training transcends boundaries and reaches new heights. Thank you once again for joining us today, and let us begin the extraordinary exploration of metaverse and its application in railways training. Thank you. Over to you, Neha.
Thank you so much, Alok, for enlightening us through your views and for giving us your insights for this webinar. Thank you so much once again. With that, let's start with our very first enlightenment by Mr. Shriyank. So we'll be having Shriyank now, who is a strategy consultant at Polygon Labs. You're an expert in the field of gaming and the metaverse. You have over 5 years of experience in the gaming industry and passionate about using technologies to create immersive and engaging experience. So I hope you'll be enlightening us with your views and your idea about your thinking about metaverse in the field of gaming. So over to you, Shreyank.
Thank you, Neha. Thank you for the introduction, and glad to be here. And thank you all for dialing in, and a very good morning to all of you. So yeah, a quick introduction about myself. So I'm Shriyank, and I've done my graduation in mechanical engineering from IIT Bombay. Graduated in 2016. Have worked across various sectors, including market research, management consulting, tech, education technology, and now currently I'm working in Web3. Have worked in various industries, starting from aerospace, retail, e-commerce, and a lot of other industries. Now, coming back to the topic, and that is metaverse in training and operation. Let me just pull in a few sliders. Yeah. Do let me know if you can see my screen and if the slide is changing.
It is visible, Shreyank.
Okay, awesome, cool. Uh, yeah. So now jumping back to what is metaverse, I guess Vijay sir and Alok has already shared a good brief about metaverse in the beginning itself, and they already covered about what is metaverse and all those things. And I don't think so there is much needed over there. However, if you think about metaverse is a seamless convergence of physical and digital lives, creating a unified virtual community and which people can just dial in. These are all the jazzy terms. In a nutshell, what metaverse is basically, it's a virtual environment, just like a physical environment, just like Earth we are living in, and we can create small environments in it and just experience the physical experiences in a digital experience. Something like a game. So we are already aware about a game called Super Mario or the Mario, which we used to play, right? So that is a environment or the digital environment that was created. Now, with the advancement of technologies using AR, VR, AI, and all the other emerging technologies, we can experience that kind of environment in the real life in a digital world, and we can be much more immersive in it. Now, you can think of it like it's so far away. How are we going to achieve it and all those things? But according to me and a lot of other experts, it's not that far away. And how can we say? Because like we have been talking about AI, right? AI is going to come in future and all those things, but AI is here. You can take example of Chat GPT. So similarly, in next few years, it's going to be implemented across industries and across you can say operations as well as processes. Now, jumping back to the main topic of discussion today, metaverse in metaverse training and operations in railway. So when it comes to training, right, metaverse helps in educating the people on both sides of the table, the trainer as well as the trainees. So it helps the trainers to explain or educate the trainees using these simulations, like what is going on inside the engine or where this particular nut or bolt will be, how to basically operate this kind of internally. And it helps the trainees to get an idea or imagine what the trainer is talking about, or basically get immersive in the experience itself. So there can be multiple ways where we can use this concept of metaverse in training, and especially in railway, to provide a more immersive and interactive environment. Now, the advent of the metaverse, a virtual shared space, which basically mixes both physical and virtual realities, it has opened up a lot of possibilities, and railway is being one of them. Now, like railways, air force, these are very complicated you can say areas where people require hardcore training and is like hardcore maintenance, and that is very critical for safety and also for security for passengers as well as the people who are working in this industry, and also for efficient operations. By incorporating metaverse into these areas, the operators can basically revolutionize or bring in the evolution, train the personals or train the trainees and maintain their infrastructure. Now, jumping to the first part, on the left hand side, you can see training in metaverse. So there are various areas where metaverse can be used. So the first one is virtual training environment. Now, this talks about like creating a realistic virtual environment that simulates railway system. So let's say, take for an example, they are locomotive pilots, right? Once they're into training, you can explain them or train them using metaverse or having this simulations run, how to basically controlling each and everything, what is what. And also, if you want to add on one more layer, that is AR, you can also share this kind of experience and make it much better for them. And when it comes to real life, it's going to be much more easier for them to understand. And this has been possible with the use of VR as well as AR devices, so virtual reality and augmented reality. Now, like these things can be used across any of the environment that is related to training. When it comes to operating a train, when it comes to operations of trains, when it comes to running a railway station. So these are the various things that we can think about. Now, jumping to the second one, that is realistic simulations. Now, realistic simulation is what I initially talked about, the emergency situations, how to basically interact, or how to move faster, or what will be the protocol for all these emergency situations. Sorry to hear about the latest news that occurred very recently. So totally my condolences over there. And so that is one of the areas that is very super critical, and it can be used. The metaverse can be used. Now, second one could be simulating train operations, which I already mentioned earlier. And the third one could be a signal management. So these are the various top of the examples that can be used. Now, what it does is it basically creates a very safe and a controlled environment for trainees to practice and learn. In real world, when trainees go right for training, there can be some areas where a very high amount of safety and security is required. Something goes wrong, then there can be some issue related to security and safety. So that is something where metaverse comes in and saves our lives. And even if we do one small thing wrong in metaverse, it's not going to impact our lives, and it's going to be very much safe in that virtual environment. And the third thing with the realistic simulation is basically it helps us understand, as in like people who are in training, to understand the complex concepts and procedures through practical application. Basically, it breaks down those concepts into very small, easier to understand procedures, and which we can implement in real life, or which we can use as a practical application. Now, jumping to the third part, that is interactive. I hope I am audible. Neha, if you can confirm.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay,
Yes, you are.
okay, cool. So yeah, just wanted to check because I'm just seeing my screen. Anyway, so interacting learning tools. So this thing, interactive learning tools is basically people can interact with the tools that are already there in Metaverse. Now, if you talk about training, there can be piles and piles of like papers or the manuals or guides that can be there and which can be lost. Let's say, for example, a person A use some training, and the next person is going to come in the next tenure needs to have that kind of a training, but we are not aware where they have kept this manual. In metaverse or in like virtual world, we can have digital manuals which can be very handy, and which can, save that particular time in going through each and every particular page, or even if you want to search any string, or even if you want to search any of the areas of particular training material that you are looking at. So these kind of tools saves time as well as enhances the productivity of the team as in including the trainees as well as the trainer. Second thing it does is it improves the accessibility, which I mentioned. Like if somebody has kept this particular manual somewhere in the office, right? Uh, it might take some time and to find the relevant manual and also find the relevant topic in that particular manual. Now, with a digital world in a virtual environment, these things are stored in a particular area where it's very easy to access and also very easy to understand, and it's just like interacting with Google Docs or Microsoft Word. So that is something that we can clearly save time. Third thing is virtual discussion. The thing that we are having right now with the use of internet and metaverse, we can create a virtual environment where we are just talking about the metaverse and saying, hey, over there, the train that looks, the graffiti over there is really nice. And the platform that is real in real life is so much better in virtual world. And you can totally have an avatar which can roam around even if you are not able to go to the particular let's say train station that is very famous. You can go with your avatar. Now these kind of virtual experiences and discussion collaboration that can also happen in metaverse, and with advancement in technology, this also involves in training as well as maintenance. Now the trainers and yep.
Sorry to cut you. Can you be close to the mic? We are getting messages that
Okay.
audio is not so clear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it is better.
Okay, sorry about that. So now virtual discussions, right? Or like people who want to teach, they can join in virtually, as well as people who are trainees, they can join in virtually. And there can also be virtual assistants who can help you in metaverse how to basically do the FAQs. And like these kind of interaction is possible because of metaverse. Let's say, for example, a trainee who is sitting out of Kolkata, right? He wants to learn, and a trainer who is based out of Delhi, he is one of the good trainers that is available as well as wants to train this particular batch. So that is, but cannot travel. So both of them cannot meet physically. So that is where the metaverse comes in. It can show you the advantage as well as the benefit of having these kind of training in a virtual environment. Now, talking about the fourth pointer, that is performance monitoring and assessment. Now, performance monitoring and assessment, it basically talks about using the IoTs and the real-time monitoring of training performances and using various algorithms and technology to basically understand how the trainee is performing for the evaluation basis. Now, this also helps in getting the immediate feedback, and also it helps trainees to understand how they can like better understand a particular training or get personalized recommendation for the areas of improvement. So like long-term tracking or identifying strengths and weaknesses, I guess that is something always works. That is the trial and tested method over here. However, with these technologies we can use in Metaverse, we can basically personalize the training programs for a particular training. Let's say, for example, I am a trainee and the trainer thinks that I am like I am lacking one of the training, right? So the trainer as well as the whole board who is involved, they can personalize that particular training. Let's say training A for me, and just personalize that particular area, which will help me understand the training much better and where I can perform and come out with flying colors. So that is something that is possible with Metaverse, or else it's just standard training in physical world that goes on, right? Now, talking about the last and the important part, that is remote collaboration and across the environment. Now, having a remote collaboration, basically it helps in uh, metaverse. Like there can be like a lot of batches in training in metaverse. How it can help is basically they can interact with each other using their avatars, just like we use WhatsApp. There can be a chat option, or there can be a communication option that is there across every platform or every app that is there. So that can also be integrated in metaverse. So this kind of remote collaboration between the trainees, just to having a colleague of yours to explain is sometimes better, and for few people it's much better, uh, rather than reading all the materials that is available or reading all the manuals. Then also it increases the teamwork, communication, and also helps in coordination. Now coordination can be used across various groups, right? So somebody who is sitting in a train station can coordinate with a locomotive pilot, and these kind of coordination can be like can be taught initially, and it can be helped with a remote training exercise. Now, jumping to the second part of this presentation, on the right hand side, we have maintenance in metaverse. And like usually, the training part is majorly related to training, people who are trainees, as well as the trainers who are trying to teach and trying to explain it much better. The second part is also very important. However, it might overlap with the concepts, or the base layer might overlap with the training, because that is something that metaverse runs on. The concept is about. So the first one is related to virtual maintenance simulations, where it's again creating a virtual representation of the infrastructure, in this scenario railway infrastructure, uh, to have this kind of simulating maintenance procedures and inspections and repairs. So for example, in a particular train, there is a issue that uh, railway has been facing, but they are not able to pinpoint where exactly it is. So they will run this kind of simulation in a virtual environment and try to figure out what can be the possible option. And this saves time, first thing, and also this saves workforce time as well as cost. And also these two are the major things that is very important in today's world. Uh, First is time, and second is cost. Now third thing would be like doing this kind of maintenance exercise. It's very important to have a safe and controlled environment, right? There can be areas where the maintenance professionals go, and environment in physical world, it's very tricky, as well as you need to have a lot of safety measures. However, if something goes wrong, that might create a hazard. But in a virtual and control environment, it's very safe. Even if there is a tiny bit of mistake, it's acceptable, because that is where, like, usually people learn. They learn from their mistakes. And now jumping to the second part, that is predictive maintenance and AI analytics. So using various algorithms and predictive analytics for maintenance. So this can be used using sensors as well as AI and all the algorithms that we have as of now. So basically there will be IoT sensors that will be placed across various areas, in trains, in stations, in operations, and all the other things, which will help us understand where the wear and tear is happening, or where the wear and tear is going to happen, based on the plethora of data that will be collected from these sensors. So let's say, for example, the trains, they have a wear and tear of some area, right? Something is so we can predict in this much time, let's say in 7 months, this kind of wear and tear is going to happen, and we are going to replace that particular part, or we are going to basically repair that particular part in, let's say, 6.5 months, so that the downtime is really low, or the downtime is really less, and we can keep the operations going on. And also this helps in real-time monitoring of the infrastructure, because we have the IoT, and helps in early detection of faults, which I already mentioned. Now, third thing would be, having this maintenance scheduled, and this optimizes the time as well as the effort by the maintenance team as well as the operations team to run a very seamless and safe operation. And this can also be, experience in a virtual world. Basically, you can run a kind of a maintenance, you can say training, or environment where people are going to replace few parts initially in virtual environment, so they are aware about what is where. And in physical world, it reduces the time because they already had one practice. Third thing is about remote assistance and troubleshooting. It's again very much related to having the trainer and a trainee at different locations. Similarly, let's say there is some maintenance going on in particular area, right? A trainer is not available, or a person, or the maintenance person is not available. However, there are some subordinates of him who can do this, but they do not have that kind of experience. So that is where the remote collaboration between the maintenance teams comes in. So let's say a trainer or a maintenance professional comes in and guides that particular person how to do this particular kind of a maintenance in metaverse, and then that particular person or can go and do it in the real life. So this kind of collaboration can also be done. And like virtual assistance and troubleshooting is one of the areas which helps in remote assistance and troubleshooting. uh, I hope I'm not overshooting the time. And the fourth one is related to data visualization and asset management. Now, because we have lot of data, right, and information from all these IoTs, so this can be using all the AI algorithms and analytics and all the new age emerging technologies. We can visualize this data in a virtual world and see where exactly the thing is going wrong, like wrong in terms of maintenance, like where the data is showing we need more what's it called, more attention.
Insights. Anand.
Insights. So insights can be drawn, and also it can be used to have this maintenance procedures very much seamless. Now, because of this data, we can make very amazing or improve our decision making through these sets of data that is coming from IoT sensors and all those things. And this also helps in tracking and documentation and all those other things. We don't have to write down each and everything on the paper. It's already there, and the raw data is available. We can directly visualize it and get the insights. Now, like why? So I'll just conclude this thing with a few things. Why do we need metaverse? That will be the first question that will come in mind. Like training, maintenance, everything is fine in metaverse, but why do we need it? First thing would be related to the enhanced safety and efficiency, because of the simulation, the safety is increased, there is a control environment, and also there is a consistent skill development, and we are being trained, or we are being overlooked in a virtual environment by professionals. So that is one of the areas. And even if there's no scope of human error in real world, but over here we can learn, and we can reduce our human error through practice and through optimized maintenance procedures. Second would be the cost savings and resource optimization. Now, like because of physical training infrastructure and equipment, there is like lot of cost and resource are involved. In virtual environment, it will reduce, because the training can happen again and again and again. There is not much required. Once you set up the infrastructure, you can basically tweak it, you can tweak the training, you can personalize the training, and basically we can reduce the reliance on the physical training or the maintenance modules. And also there will be a lot of equipments or tools that will be required in physical training. And this also helps in having efficient way of using the resources during both training as well as maintenance. Third thing would be the in metaverse, it's much more inclusive and very much accessible, because we already have internet. There is 4G, and in some locations there is also 5G, and we have like huge very low bandwidth, the very high internet through a low throughput. So this helps in remote training opportunities across various locations. You don't have to be present physically, and the accessibility to the individual who cannot be present and have like some physical limitation, maybe traveling or maybe some kind of thing, that can also be helped with remote training as well as virtual environment. And fourth thing would be the privacy, like safeguarding the trainee and the personal data in virtual environment. That can be done very easily because of all the technologies and platforms that we have. And because we are in a virtual environment, the surveillance or the basically guidance from the personals, that can be very much helpful as compared to the physical environment. And as we are already aware, there can be like a lot of data security and privacy compliance. So that is something that can be very much secured because of all the platforms and services that are being provided, and the data can be secured. Like it can be with one of the blockchains. I'm from the blockchain industry, so having the data in blockchain, that can be super helpful. And now just concluding my session over here. So basically, even though we think that metaverse in few years down the line, there's like a lot of companies, lot of industries, and a lot of government agencies who are using metaverse. And having metaverse like in training and maintenance practices is going, it has huge potential. And virtual training, realistic simulations, then interactive tools and all the other things that I mentioned over here, that can optimize the training as well as maintenance procedure, and also give you access to a lot of things which might not be there in physical world. Now that is something which I would like to conclude. And over to you, Neha. Thank you for this amazing time and session.
Thank you so much, Shriyank. I must say it was truly insightful, and now I have a proper idea of how Metaverse works in real time. And thank you so much for your simplistic explanation of Metaverse but practical application. Uh, Shriyank, I'll be needing you for a couple of more moments because we have received couple of queries in the chat box from the audience. We may pick up those queries before we move to the next session. So, Shriyank, you're still there. We would like to pick a couple of.
So would you like me to pick it now, or would you like me to pick it at the end of the session when we
I
already
guess we can pick a couple
Okay.
of queries right now.
Okay, absolutely.
So the first question which we have received is that is training and maintenance is one or the same thing, as both of them are serving the same purpose?
No, so these both are different. So you can think of training. So the concepts are very much similar. So one thing can be like when we are having a training, right? So the trainees can learn in a virtual environment. However, when we are doing maintenance, with inclusion of AR, we can directly pinpoint which particular thing needs to be replaced. I'm just talking in very layman terms, but there can be much more complicated scenarios. In a virtual environment, that person can get to know what all areas need to be replaced or what all areas needs to be checked in a virtual environment, and how to basically like get access to do that particular thing in virtual environment, because in physical environment it's very hard to get access at least to, let's say, a particular nut in an engine. If you think I might be wrong over here when it comes to railway operations and basics, but those things are totally different. One is very much related to training. The training we can have it right now. Right now we are talking in Microsoft Teams. However, in a virtual environment, we can also have these kind of interaction where if I move back, my voice will be really low, and I'm talking about avatars, and if I'm talking to another avatar, my voice will be really high. So that is something that that kind of speciality we can have in metaverse. When it comes to training, the trainees or the employees, right, in a virtual environment, it's very safe, and you can teach them again and again and again. When it comes to maintenance, you just need to have one kind of, okay, I have my first step is going to be this, second step is going to be this. If I check all these things, nothing works out, I'm again going to back to the virtual training and see what can be done next. So these are totally two different things. However, the concepts or the pillars of this is same.
Thank you so much, Shriyank. The other query we have received is how can we evaluate knowledge, skills, and attitude in training scenario with the help of Metaverse?
How can we
Evaluate knowledge, skills, and attitude.
attitude?
Yeah. Altitude is also written altitude.
Okay, I just got it. How to evaluate knowledge and skills. Okay, so how can we evaluate? Let's take let's take a very layman example. So there are two persons, right? One might have better knowledge, one might have good knowledge, and both have their strengths and weaknesses. And how can we think which one? So because we are already so let's take example of training itself. Let's say we are comparing two. Usually we shouldn't. We should only compare with person in the past and what is going to be in future. But in the usual scenario, because we are humans, we are comparing two people, and one might have better knowledge in particular area, one might not. In virtual environment, you can have these kind of tests. You can run simulation which can make you evaluate these two persons, and you can run this kind of simulation. So you might have seen various simulating cars, racing cars, right? In a similar manner, you can run the simulation in a metaverse and evaluate these two, then few tests, or have these kind of exams, or like virtual exams where they need to do few procedures and tasks, and there only you can see what is the knowledge they have gained from this particular training, like let's say person A and person B, and you can evaluate those skills as well.
This just a minute. This is basically a very good question asked. Basically, right now what's happening is that we are judging our employees by their emotional intelligence also.
Yeah.
Means what is their attitude towards working? What is their attitude towards their subordinates? Because you may have a knowledge, you may have skills, but you may not be emotionally stable
Yep.
to perform your job. So now actually we are doing it manually. So this question is indeed a very good question. That how is it possible to judge the emotional intelligence of a person via metaverse?
You have, so you can take the another 2 layers of VR as well as AR, where you can read the emotions, the motion of their eyes, as well as you can have sensors attached to the body, how they're reacting to this particular scenario. So I'll just share a scenario where a very recent one, where we had a very sad thing happened in Odisha, and so that kind of thing, it takes a toll emotionally across team, not just individual who is responsible, but it takes across team, and how to basically react. There can be a lot of things. There can be family involved in it. Probably the person's family is was involved in that particular, so they can be emotional question too. If this kind of scenario was already done in training, right? Some kind of scenario in virtual environment that trains the particular person as well, and we can track the emotions via various sensors as well as cameras, how this particular person is reacting. The emotional quotient can differ from person to person, and that is something that can be done in metaverse as well.
Thank you. We can have Neha, over to you, please.
Thanks, Vijay. So I would like to pick another question, Shriyank, and maybe then we can have another speaker to come over here. So
Sure,
the
sure.
last query which I'm picking is, can we retrieve data or information from metaverse?
Yes, absolutely. We can do that. We can bring in all the data that is there in metaverse because of the amazing things that people are doing with the emerging technologies, having these IoTs, the emotions that I just talked about. So we can pick all this data, and this data will be secured, will be stored in a very secure place where only few people can access it, who are given the access, let's admins, and they can bring the insights from those data, and like whenever you want to go back to a particular scenario or particular date, right, you can access that particular data as well because it's already stored. Excuse me.
Thank you so much, Shriyank. And we have received other couple of more queries, but then I think we should move to the next speaker right now, and maybe we can pick these queries towards the end of this session.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Shriyank. And with
Yeah.
that, let me share my screen once again. Uh, so here. So now we'll be having Mr. Anand Kulkarni representing Intel. He is a pioneer cutting edge technologies. Anand has been actively involved in exploring the applications of the metaverse in various industries and will share his valuable experiences. So if we have Anand, can we have you on the screen, sir? And over
Yeah,
to
hi.
you. Stages are
Hi.
yours.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity to address this august audience. And as Neha called out, this is Anand Kulkarni here, and I'm part of Intel. And today I'm also joined by Siddharth Jain, who is from one of our partner companies, Third AI, that works very closely with Intel Labs, because for the topic that you've asked us to share our thoughts on, it is definitely very futuristic in terms of the end vision that people have in terms of what metaverse is going to be capable of delivering to. So what I will showcase in today's session is really both a personal and an Intel view on what does it take. I mean, what is really the journey to realizing something like this, and how do we kind of incrementally build a practical approach of practical and tangible approach of actually delivering to this end goal. So I start off by actually talking about some of the most important workloads that we should kind of start visualizing, that are important to address as we kind of build out this larger vision of application of metaverse to training, right? I mean, basically the whole idea of implementing a metaverse involves the confluence of multiple technologies, and those technologies that need to get powered by an infrastructure that will actually support it at scale and with production like guarantees in a secure manner, right? So those the you have to consider what is the kind of infrastructure that is required, and what are the kinds of investments that you really need to make to create that kind of infrastructure to realize on this particular vision. Uh, with the goal that with the immediate goal that you have in terms of, okay, how can I train my workforce in a manner that is scalable, in a manner that is immersive, in a manner that is also current to what is expected of the entire workforce. So I'll spend a little bit of time talking about the different workloads that become important to consider as you build out on this roadmap. Uh, First and foremost, I think what is most important is content management, right? And although this sort of sounds pretty traditional, but is, I think, the foundation on which you are really going to train your workforce. There are definitely railway manuals. There are different resources that are, I'm sure, already present in your entire ecosystem. So how do you kind of and a lot of those resources may or may not be structured and digitized. So how do you put together the workflows to make sure that the content that already exists is rightly indexed, categorized, digitized, and made available in a repository that is accessible to the roadmap that you're really going to put in place. So I'm not saying that the content is present in a repository that end users go about trying to search and access, but I'm saying that the content should be in a repository that as you put your roadmap of machines that are really going to leverage on that content are able to leverage that in a structured manner. So thinking about the content that is present in the railways ecosystem, both within and outside, right? I mean, there's going to be a lot of global content also that's going to be present, right? How do you kind of marry that global content with the local content that you already have to create that foundation of content repository is the first thing to really think about in terms of how do you really implement and put that in a motion that is leverageable for the tools that will follow. Once that content is sort of put in place, then I think today we have quite a bit of maturity in terms of the language models that can actually understand that content, right? And it is important for machines to understand that content, because once the machines understand that content, uh, what is possible for you to kind of do with that understood content, there are humongous options that open up, right? And so making that content something that is present within your data center's ecosystem, because if the content becomes, for example, I mean, you could kind of say that, okay, I will use the OpenAI applications uh, to leverage the large language models that are present there, and then use the ChatGPT APIs to start building applications around training, right? But then you also need to consider challenges of data security. How much of this content and all of this content is actually your intellectual property, right? So how do you kind of protect that intellectual property and yet make it leverageable by the large language models? Because then what they can do with that content is something that we'll talk about in a few slides that I will call out next, right? So content management, the speech recognition, so the ability to use audio to text and text to audio, both phases are content management, ASRs, and text to speech, and large language models, and the consequent NLP operations that you can do on that language data in a multilingual mode is the next sort of workload that is completely doable today with the kinds of hardware and software infrastructure that is present. The next sort of in the journey is to consider what you could do with computer vision, right? And I kind of also call off from one of the gentlemen who called off. How do I kind of measure emotional intelligence, right? How do I measure emotional intelligence in a scalable manner? And the response from Shriyank was, yes, there are tools and techniques to really be able to do this, right? And computer visions and the different kinds of models that are already available today, which can be incrementally trained with some of the data sets that bring contextual accuracies to the model, is again something that is completely doable and in a scalable manner. And once done, then you can almost think of a trainer who is conducting training in a classroom, and these large language these vision models are executing either on the cloud, or they are executing on the device that the end user is using. And not only are you looking at whether the person is attentive to all that has been talked about, but you can also kind of try to understand his reaction to different situations that the trainer can present, and have the machine evaluate how is he responding, what is his emotional intelligence, how does he react, what is his sentiment, is things that is possible for us to do today with the kinds of technologies that we have, both from a hardware software perspective. And for it to execute, we have infrastructure that is completely affordable. So content management followed with speech recognition, then the content fed to large language models so that machines understand that content, and then you can do consequential NLP tasks on that content. Speech to text, so that you can play back the generated. So there is this entire realm of generative AI where you can generate text. And once that text is generated, then you could have machines actually play out that text, right? So again, that is something that is achievable. Then finally, what you could do from a computer vision perspective to help kind of scale the presence of a teacher with every student, and that teacher really understanding what the student is feeling, not feeling, is he understanding, not understanding. All of that is possible by that camera that is kind of focused on the student, and kind of trying to make interpretations out of all the emotions that he really goes through. The uh, next set of capabilities, I would say, or workloads or capabilities, require a lot more investment, a lot more infrastructure readiness, and a lot more even domain expertise, right? So the first I would really call out is what's possible with digital twins, right? And I would recommend going about implementing this for some of your most critical systems that people need to get trained on, right? And we have seen implementations of digital twins in industries like oil refineries, industries like manufacturing, where there are expensive equipments that people need to understand. People need to be able to model their behavior in terms of how they would react to different situations, and conducting each of those experiments and conducting each of those different permutations and combinations of scenarios can be expensive, can be life-threatening, and can also be time-consuming, right? So digital twins as a technology becomes a very I would say important alternative to consider for those situations. But to do that, you would need to really understand what are you twinning, And for what you're training, you need to understand all of its physical aspects, how it behaves under different situations, and completely be able to model that, and then use that twinned model as a platform to kind of experiment on. And those could be experiments, or those could be also teachings or learning modules that you could create for people. So creating a twin is not a simple exercise. As I said, it will require domain expertise. It will require a machine learning expert. It will require an expertise of how to kind of twin that person, twin that thing in a manner that is completely behaving like what he's representing, right? But it is the first step towards creating that overall metaverse where you start by twinning the most critical aspects of your large infrastructure, and then those a combination of those twins will really will create that alternate world that is sort of the pinnacle of what metaverse will be able to achieve. Uh, so then the next set of journeys become that much more challenging, because uh, it is really dependent on a lot of effort that will go into creating the content, right? Creating the content for creating that metaverse world. And there are approaches today of generating a lot of that content, right? So there are generative AI models that can generate content, but yet there will be quite a bit of content production that you would have to think about when you kind of enter into uh, that 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 futuristic world of creating a complete metaverse of the different operations of railways. And some of the technological challenges that would come in there is when you need to create the immersive experience, you need to make sure that that content is of high resolution, that content is pretty detailed, is realistic, and is believable, right? And that's where again technology plays a role, because as you kind of look at the alternate ways of creating content that is not heavy from a storage size perspective, because you need to worry about the network bandwidth as you move around this content from places of generation to places of consumption, and that will have I mean, if you look at all the content that is produced today, one of the biggest challenges that people like Netflix, etc., have is that how do you distribute the content, right? How do you distribute that content to that last mile? And is my network ready to do that? Is my network really scalable to do that? So when you start looking at content that has to be consumed, you have to start worrying about not only the compute aspects, but also the networks that need to be uh, put in place to manage that kind of bandwidth requirement that really the content would put on it for you to realize it properly, right? So there are approaches of how you would kind of encode this. So the entire technology of how you encode data, how you decode data, how you create the infrastructure for these production studios that create the content. And finally, when you have created that content and that content is being consumed, then how do you go about rendering that content in a manner that is realistic, is again becomes a big part of the workload to sort of consider. So these are sort of some of the top workloads that at least came to my mind as I kind of tried to peel the problem of creating a metaverse for railways training, right? And all of these workloads will kind of rest on an infrastructure that is that allows you to have compute from edge to cloud, right? So from the place where the content is getting generated or getting consumed at the edge to where you require infrastructure to train and produce and transform content to different formats. I mean, there are multiple workloads that required to be executed at the data center and the workloads that have to be executed at the edge. And of course, there is a network that is becomes important, and that network could be a 5G powered or a 4G powered or even your MPLS kind of a network that allows all of this to happen. And of course, security is something that becomes very, very important to consider in everything that you do, because one security glitch can kind of bring down all of this like a pack of cards, right? So thinking about how you weave in security through this entire offering that you build over a period of time becomes a consideration that you should not ignore one bit. So I will show a few engineering innovations that Intel is kind of working on with a few ISVs and partners. One of this is the DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is basically a studio that is used for content production. And how can you use the combination of OpenVINO, which is basically Intel software for deep learning, and the Intel Arc GPU, which is a discrete GPU from Intel, deployed in workstations. How can you use a combination of this to enhance the usability of a studio that is used for content production? The next example I talk about is what we are doing with Topaz Labs, where we are trying to see how can AI basically help you to do a content upscaling, right? You may not have content that is that has the pixel clarity that is required to create those kinds of immersive experiences, because you can't have all content to be in 4K video, right? And because the pressure that it will put on compute and your network bandwidth is something that you need to look at from an alternate solutioning perspective. And that's where you kind of bring in the capability of AI that can be executed at the edge, where your content may not be as super clear, but then you can have AI to enhance that content before it is rendered. The next one is what we are doing with this company from a rendering perspective, where we are using the ray tracing algorithms. I think this was one of the standards from NVIDIA, where we are looking at ray tracing and how ray tracing can be accelerated on Intel compute, again on Intel discrete GPU cards on workstations, which will then help me to give a better experience of what I see in terms of. So ray tracing is basically an algorithm that helps me to understand effects of shadow, refraction, reflection. So all of that is what ray tracing really algorithms really help me to create effects for, and which then helps me to render my content in a manner that is more realistic and believable, and the experiences become sort of better. Stable diffusion is another generative AI algorithm that is sort of capturing a lot of attention around the world. And what Intel is doing is working with Stable Diffusion, Stable AI, to accelerate and run some of their workloads on CPU architectures to make it a much more affordable alternative. And what this space technology really brings to bear is the ability to generate images out of text, right? Which could be one of the components of how you kind of create those kinds of metaverse-based experiences experiences where you would have a lot of textual data that you could then see how to translate into images and videos. Hence reducing the amount of pressure that pressure, time, and cost in content production, basically. This is where I think is what is most tangible of what you could do with language models. And this is what Siddharth, who's going to share the screen with me now, he's going to demonstrate some of the use cases that are possible for us to kind of execute today, right? I mean, I can think of a scenario where me as a trainee is using either a text-based learning mechanism or is interacting with the system, and there is ASRs that convert speech to text. That text can then be applied to large language models for any question and answer interaction that you could do with the system. And you can, based on the answers that he provides back, I can understand what is his sentiment, whether he is correct, not correct, because today you have large language models that are answering IIT questions. So why can't they kind of answer the railways data that they have been trained with, right? So this entire process, I feel, is definitely something that you could implement today with today's models, and and you can kind of implement this with also the open source alternative of models, and keep all of this data completely within your data center without having it to leave your data center, right? Keeping security in mind. So large language models and NLP activities that happen on large language models, along with the content structuring and vision algorithms that can be applied to understand the sentiment of the trainee, is all that we can definitely implement today and put that into production. Finally, I kind of leave you with a slide that talks about the different infrastructure options that are present as you go from sort of edge to cloud, where you have what Intel will release, which is Meteor Lake, which is the CPU architecture that we have with a vision processing unit in the CPU. So our future laptops are going to be powered with Meteor Lake, and which is basically an AI laptop, if you may say so, which basically allows you to do a lot of AI activities that we believe will happen as we go into the future. And Meteor Lake is something that we are going to release very shortly. Then when it comes to the CPUs, we have a fourth generation Xeon processor, the Sapphire Rapids, which can, as the slide shows, it is able to deal with that many number of that a model of that complexity with that many number of millions of parameters. And then there are options of specific ASIC built cards, the Habana Gaudi 2, which takes it all the way up to 3 billion parameters. And this is all from an inferencing perspective. And there are similarly options from a training perspective by kind of putting these cards together. So that sort of covers what I envision as the roadmap of how to kind of go about implementing this, what is going to be the play of hardware, software to be able to deal with this, and how what can we tangibly do today. So with that, I'll hand it off to Siddharth. Siddharth, over to you, please.
Hey, hi everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, Siddharth.
So yes, let me start with a very small presentation. Can you see my screen? I'm sharing a slide. Okay. Yes,
Yes,
it's
Siddharth.
been
You
delayed.
can put it in the presentation mode, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I'm representing a company called Third AI. Our motto is to provide AI to everyone, and that's what we do. Our main capability is we can do any machine learning training and inference on CPU. You don't need any expensive hardware for that. For today's presentation and demo, we are presenting a use case where we are bringing the knowledge or the power of large language models on your device. So what we are saying is you can create your own language model on your device for any search or answering capability. And it's not just limited to neural or semantic search. We are also saying that you can teach, a human can teach a model if it is doing something wrong on the fly in real time. So let me just quickly go to the demo itself. Okay. So I'm just for the use case, I'm picking up this manual, which is operating manual for Indian Railways. It's 165-page manual. So I just leveraged the previous time when Anand was introducing to train the model. It took me like 2 minutes on my desktop to train a local language model, right? And now I'm just going to, ask few questions to it. So I went through this manual and try to figure out some questions. So what is the question order speed limit, right? So it will pinpoint you in the manual where is that paragraph which you are looking for or relevant section of that, right? Now you can use a third party question answering system which can, beautify your answers and provide you this answer, right? Uh, how we are different from other things is like, okay, let's say if you just want to go and search, right? Let's say this is something which is getting generated, right? So let's say, can I do such kind of search on my PDF, right? So as the answer are still coming from this only, right? But you cannot do that search because PDFs are not capable of answering semantic or neural questions, right? So this is answer which is getting generated. So let's say your user wants to learn more from this manual, or he wants to say like, I want to learn more about this. So can I do something like this? I want to know more like this paragraph, right? So still giving first answer as the same, but other ones are also relevant to the same thing, right? All the answers, all the passages which it is picking up is now relevant to the same paragraph. So now you can do a neural search over a very large text, right? I'm going to give you one more example of this, right? So there's this question, what is the speed restriction in NI period? So it specifically says me that, the speed restriction, it picks up the relevant paragraph from your manual and you can figure out, okay, the speed restrictions are 15 kilometers, right? And you can use any question answering module, external or internal, for giving specifically the line or in user own language. So if you want to give this in Hindi or Bengali or any other language, you can actually generate answer in that language. And similarly, you can do search in any language now, right? So I just want to do this search, right? NI of the my speed restriction. It's still giving me the same relevant. So this system is multilingual because of the language models you are training you locally. And now let's say,
Sorry to interrupt you, Siddharth. We are getting a couple of comments in the chat box that people are not able to see your screen. So if you can little zoom on your screen, then maybe it can help the audience to understand in a better way.
sure. Is it better?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
I can see
I can
his
go
screen.
over.
I can see his screen basically. The audience is able to see his screen. He zoomed it also now.
Yeah, it is pretty visible now.
Okay.
Okay. So let me just repeat few things again. So I was taking this example, right? So where I want to know what are the speed restrictions in NI period. If I search over it, it gives me that speed restriction is 15 kilometer, right? Now I want to search, as in India, right? We do a lot of code mixing. हम कुछ हिंदी में लिखेंगे, कुछ English में लिखेंगे, right? So our models are still capable of understanding all those things, right? And try to see, okay, I can still figure out the relevant passages from the your manual, right? And let's say if I want to do, something like, mm, let's say, I don't know what this question order means, but let's say सावधानी आदेश गति सीमा क्या है, right? If I do this, I'm understanding that my model don't understand this part, right? So can I teach my model to understand such things? So it's a simply no code system. You can just say, learn this, and this is something similar to this. You just say this and click associate. And next time you search, sorry, okay, 1 second. See. Okay, I think just messed up something, but yeah, you can do multi-search as well, as I showed earlier for some example, right? So yeah, you can do search in multiple languages, you can do relevant passages, and the best part is this is running all on your private system. You don't need to share your data outside. Right now, I just loaded one manual. You can load 1,000 such manuals into your system, all which are available, and you can still do such neural and semantic search in multiple languages, or teach them multiple languages to look into. So let's say uh, you want to say, for example, in common terms, probably the person who is coming up as a new fresh joinee, he understand driver, but he doesn't understand loco pilot, but he's searching what are the driving conditions for driver. So you can map that loco pilot and driver is the same thing. All such things can be possible here. And the best part is you can just teach this and save the model. You can save this model and give it to anyone. You can distribute it to any of the stations, and they'll get the same updates immediately. And they can run the client on their end. So yeah, that's the presentation from my side.
Thank you. Thank you, Siddharth.
Yeah, there are a few questions. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe
I just wanted to add a few points to what Siddharth just demonstrated. So think of this as sort of a foundational capability, that a capability where you're able to train uh, your models with data that is yours, right? I mean, if you go to any of the open source offerings, or you go to any of the public offerings, they are trained on the data that is publicly available, but a lot of times you're not able to train it with data that is yours, and hence for every enterprise it becomes important to consider their large language model assets, because then you can kind of start incrementally creating intelligence in your large language models based on your data. So that becomes sort of a foundational capability of how do you create your own assets of LLMs and train it with your data sets that are historical in nature, data sets of today, and data sets of future, right? So that entire production pipeline of being able to incrementally add on to your large language models, I think is sort of a foundational capability. Once that capability is there, Then there are a lot of models that are there which are in the realm of NLP, where you could do, as Siddharth showed, translation. So you can do translation from multilingual to any other language, and then use that as a prompt to ask questions using your Q&A models against the data set, against a LLM model that you already have, right? You can apply ASR, where you can do a speech synthesis to a speech conversation and use that synthesized data to again apply back on your LLMs and do something more with it. So the LLM is sort of the foundation, and using that foundation, there are multiple different use cases that are possible with that data. What is very interesting that Intel did with at least what Third AI has done is the ability to run this on simplified CPU architectures, which makes it again very affordable, right? So that is sort of what I thought is very tangible for us to implement today.
So just to give one example, right, why you want to train your own language models on your own data. So I just asked this question, right? What is the speed restriction in NI period in Indian Railways? ChatGPT can't answer. It just gives that it's 68 miles or 110 kilometers per hour, but specifically the manual says the speed restriction is 15 kilometers per hour. So that's the power of building your own language models.
Yes.
And your data will remain inside your system. It's completely private. You can even do air gap system. So that is also one added advantage when you couple with Third AI and Intel. All our workloads are optimized to run on Intel devices, and they give extremely fast sub-millisecond latency. So everything will be in real time, right? So just to add more on this, so let's say you have thousands of manuals which are added. Let's say there is a repair manual for some specific part of engine, right? And let's say a technician wants to look into when he's doing that repair, he can just search that query and it will show the relevant section in his own language. He can do the search and you'll get the relevant section out there to help him out. Just to end things from my side, I'll just give a technology overview, what we are doing. So currently the system which you have seen, it's a 500 million parameter system, which I trained it on my own desktop, right? And why we can do this is there is a new research which we are doing since last 5 years called sparsity. So what happens in current world of machine learning, that you build a very large network which comprises of billions of parameters. And when you want to do any inference, you calculate over all the billion parameters, right? So that's why things are expensive compute wise. But in our case, what we do is we are also training on a very large network, but we intelligently figure out what is the sub part of the network which we want to evaluate. Hence, our compute is very efficient and we are faster. So that's from Third AI side. Thank you so much for giving me time.
So this was a useful insight by Mr. Anand and Mr. Siddharth Jain to the underlying infrastructure of the potential program we might develop. So thank you so much for your thoughts and the valuable knowledge. And though we have received few queries in the chat box, and I have seen that Mr. Kulkarni and Siddharth, they themselves have reverted to the queries. Rest of the queries we may pick towards the end of the session, as we need to jump to the another speaker. So I'm sharing my screen.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kulkarni. So next in line, we have Mr. Vishal Patil, who is the metaverse expert at ChainCode Consulting. You are an expert in the field of railways and the metaverse, and you have over 15 years of combined experience and are passionate about using technology to improve the efficiency and safety to the railway operations. So can we have Mr. Vishal Patil over here, and over to you, Vishal.
Yeah, thank you so much, Neha, for giving me this opportunity. And good afternoon, all of you guys. And let's discuss about the subject today. And first of all, I'll start with my introduction. So I am Vishal Patil, serving as a metaverse expert in ChainCode Consulting. Along with me, my technical team is also there, who will be helping me throughout the practical demo that will be representing you today. So yes, our subject is pretty clear today. We need to provide a solution around the transportation freight logistic, okay, where we will be providing a solution where we can press the container and the parcels in real time with the help of metaverse. So let's see how this session goes. So first of all, let me share my screen. Fine. So it is visible right now.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, guys, like I have already given you the introduction. Let's directly jump onto the solution that we are, bringing for Indian Railways. So first of all, let me start with the initiative that Indian Railway has been taken already from last many years. So like Indian Railway has been a backbone for the trade and commerce, and we already know that, right? It has revolutionized the commerce industry, of course. Okay. So here we have covered few glimpses of the cargo containers, like how does it functions. So as we all know, like the first train has been introduced in 1837, okay, which was basically a freight train, you can say, which is again our subject only, okay, which was used for like transporting the road materials on this route. So from that time, like we were transporting couple of tons, and now we have reached up to like transporting 13,000 tons at the same time, and with 400 containers with powerful engines like WEG 12B, which is again a big revolution and the big initiative that our Indian railway ecosystem have taken. Okay, and apart from that, like recently we all know like Indian Railway has taken an initiative of developing a dedicated freight corridor, okay, which will be developed by end of 2024. So we have planned around 6 DFCs. So this WDFC and the EDFC is already running on, and 70% of the development has been done already, which will bring a lot of business in Indian railway transportation ecosystem. Because nowadays, people are relying on trucks and the other transportation services because like our routes were busy. Our routes were like the freight trains were occupied on the same route of passengers. So like the less priority was given to freight trains rather than passenger trains. So now we have the dedicated freight corridors. So it will be a kind of revolution in terms of transportation, and it will be reaching up to destination in very fast manner. So it can see like where we can see like there are high possibilities that businesses will be coming to take our transportation services. But at the same time, when thousands of trains are running on daily basis, just like this, it's quite hard to track and manage each and every train in real time, because our staff is already occupied for the same, but it's in real time it's quite difficult to manage. So this kind of incidents can happen during that scenario, like the container is broken, the parcels are outside on railway track, and it can definitely lead up to huge losses. Okay, when it comes to medicines, right? So when like COVID was going on then, and the transportation was happening for medicines through train, then this might be the incidents, where medicines are, like taken out of container, because we don't have, that kind of locks in every bogie or every container, which can sustain and secure our goods and, commodities. So mainly we are targeting over here like covered wagons, which you can see that this is the type, okay, where we are mainly focusing on the special and the refrigerator. Yeah. So here we have bring one solution for the same. The solution that I talked about, like which can solve this current problem statement. So this is the digital twin that we have built in Metaverse for Indian Railway. So as you guys can see, this is the cinematic highlights of our Metaverse. how we will be able to track the Indian Railway containers in real time in Metaverse. So like here we goes. Okay, so this will basically, get the details, basic details of our product or parcels or boxes, you can say, like temperature, altitude, or tolerance. So these are the, primary factors we have set it for now, but multiple factors can come in picture. So as you can see, like we will be getting few real-time data with the help of IoT devices. So basically our metaverse is integrated with IoT devices. So that particular IoT devices, or you can say smart lock, are already, attached with the boxes or parcels. So we will be getting the real-time data from it and trying to, simulate the same data in metaverse, because whenever you are having any IoT application, it's kind of, limited with 2D screen or mobile application. But if you, like see the data in virtually and in simulation environment, so this is the, great approach or great convenient manner, I must say, where you will be seeing this kind of data, where temperature has been gone up to 100, so there are types of train like, and types of container. We have mentioned container 1, 2, and 3. So you can see the separate data for each of the container, and what was the like average temperature at the real time. So we have mentioned few data over here. Yes. So this can be, any kind of goods or commodities. So right now we are talking about the cold commodities or cold supply chain, where basically covers the pharmaceuticals, lab samples, food or meat or dairy item. It can definitely go up to, gems and jewelries and some electronic devices. So there will be unlimited possibilities, okay, which need to be very in secure manner, which we need to see in real time. So let me bring the demo to you, that how does it actually functions. So in case, any kind of this activities occurs, then what we can do is we can definitely like notify the nearest station where the train is already going on, and we can take some necessary action. Suppose temperature has been increased, okay, so we can't do anything real time, but what we can do is the, like we can stop at the nearest station. We can notify the real person, like this is the situation, and that is also we will be covering, that how we are, like getting the notification apart from metaverse. It's not that we have a dependency of metaverse, or you need to just jump on this simulation environment. How we will be getting the SMS or email, that definitely will be showing you in next few minutes. So as I told you, like with me, Mr. Ravindra is there. He is from the technical team. So let me present the demo to you. So is my screen visible, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Naren, if you can tell me like what you are able to see now.
I can see some parcels being kept inside the train, inside the
Right.
flight train.
Exactly. Yes, guys. So, like here we have created one digital twin of one container. This is the hypothetical situation I am putting over here. So yes, so this orange highlights, it's showing the, like there is some problem with parcel or our product. So some irregular activities has occurred with our parcel. So how we can say is like, by clicking on that particular box. So here, like the basic detail has been mentioned, like item code, the seal date and time, what is the weight, what is the size of that particular carton or boxes, and the location, of course, like what is the position of that particular parcel in the rack. And yeah, why it is, showing in the orange color, it's because of temperature is high in the criteria. It is 53 degree. Okay, so this is kind of, notification or kind of information we will be able to see in simulation dashboard. And in the left side, you can already see the, train status, like cargo demo train, what is the current train speed and what is the location. So this kind of information we have tried to cover over here. And let me present you the further things with help of IoT device that definitely Ravindra will be taken care of. So allow me a second, please. Okay. Is this visible, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So just wanted to request you, like, you need to change multiple screens, because we are like sharing the screen as well as, like, we are fetching the data from the other camera. So if you want to see it in real time, so you guys need to switch a camera like again and again frequently. So please bear with us. Yeah, so Ravindra will take the lead, please.
Yeah. Hello, hi, namaste. So, as Vishal said, so this is a simulation environment. We can say this is a metaverse environment where the actual digital twin of a cargo train is there. And just a minute. Yep. So now screen is visible.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is a simulation environment where concerned person can traverse through and go and check the boxes. So here they can click on any of the boxes and get the information about it. Along with that, if it is a green line, then then the lock is not tampered and the all conditions which we put in are intact or everything is working fine. That's why it's showing us green. And as Vishal said, if there is any breach in the given condition like temperature, then it's showing us orange. So likewise, we admin can get the overview or get an idea. And before that also, let's say if some box is damaged or some seal is broken, then without clicking only admin can get the details like this box is orange. So something is happened with this box. So now we'll see how everything is working in real time. So for that, we have prepared a demo. So this is to simulate IoT device, and this contains one temperature sensor which is TMP350, and along with that we have ESP32 which has built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth capabilities to it. I have plugged in the device. So now this device will take temperature from this sensor. So for simulating that temperature, we have this normal water, and then we have this warm water, and then we have this hot water. So what I'll do is, we'll to simulate this, we'll put this sensor into this, and then we'll plug in the device. And now our sensor will take the readings from it, and then it will be transmitted to the simulation environment. So likewise, in actual train also this could be done, like any of the IoT devices could be connected to the simulation environment, and then the data could be transmitted at real time. See, the data for for location CA10 is updated. So all of the boxes here are not connected to the IoT devices. So we have put this device for demo. So this one box is only connected with the device. And also in Vishal is the administrator. So he will also get a message if something is happened. So he'll also get a mail. He'll also get a text message. So they need not to go to the virtual simulation environment to check whether everything is working fine or not. And even after that, they will also get this particular box number, which is present, which is put in this particular rack number, has some issues and some temperature changes happened. So right now, as you can see, this box is previously green and now it's orange. Okay. So now we'll put this into let's say hot water. And now we'll wait for a few seconds to get the reading from device. So as this is a hot water, the reading must be higher. Okay. Now we'll check on this box. I was audible, right, during the demo?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, likewise, this could be done into actual freight train also. Actual lock could be connected like this way, and to simulate that also we have put it one lock. And as this lock is broken, see, that box was red.
Okay, I'm audible, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, there is some issue with additional camera or something, but I hope you might, get the fair enough idea like how this is functioning, right? And how the devices are connected, how we are getting the real-time notification. So at the same time, when I was getting the SMS, at the same time, like I had email as well. I don't know like whether you guys are able to see my screen or not, but it came from IRCTC. So you
It's
guys can,
visible.
yeah,
It's
cool.
visible.
Thank you. Okay, so you guys can at least assume that how real time this is working, right? The moment like Ravindra is dipping the temperature sensor in it, and at the same time, within a few minutes, like 2 or 3 minutes, we are getting the data with the help of IoT devices in our simulation environment. At the same time, we are getting the notification, SMS, and email as well. So I hope this can solve multiple problems. Like so, what our focus was like to bring one solution around pharmaceutical goods, okay, because they are very sensitive when it comes to temperature or something, and it can definitely risk someone's lives, right? Because who people who will blame, like whether Indian Railways, whether the pharmaceutical provider or the retailer who will be taking these goods and accepting this goods once it's arrived at destination. So this problem statement inspired us to bring solution around this. I hope like if you guys have any questions, then definitely you guys can ask. And if you guys not understood anything, then I'll be would love to repeat the thing again. Like yeah, Neha.
Yeah, hi Vishal. It was very awesome. I really liked the presentation. I was awestruck, and I am sure our audience must have liked you liked the information shared by you. Coming to
Yeah.
the queries which you are asking, maybe we can pick the queries towards the end of the session because our next speaker is available to present his content. So maybe we'll be picking up the queries towards the end of the session.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Definitely, we can do the Q&A session later time,
In
like
the,
end of.
yeah.
But yeah, Mr. Nitin.
No, I just said we will take the questions towards the end of the session, Vishal. And yeah, the demo was truly intriguing. Yeah, especially with respect to carrying high value items, vaccines, pharmaceutical products in a standardized temperature controlled environment or any other standardization which maybe the business needs. So
Correct.
fantastic simulations and demo. Thank you.
Thank you. And what I believe, like this can definitely bring trust to multiple businesses or enterprises. They will be definitely, prioritizing our Indian Railway service rather than, putting the trucks. Because as you can see, it's not about, just like safety of this goods and services. It can definitely help us in environmental changes as well. Because if one cargo train is running with 13,000 tons, then like 1,300 trucks will be not running on the
Yeah.
road. So
Yeah.
it can be definitely benefit for pollution. Apart from that, like the capacity we have, so it will be time efficient as well as in terms of
Definitely.
rate be cheaper. So there are multiple benefits. So would love to answer all the questions in end of this session. And sorry for the inconvenience if my screen got stuck or something or due to camera, but we were trying to present you with multiple devices. So yeah,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you both.
Thank you so much, Vishal. With that, I would like to call our next speaker, Mr. Nitin Gupta. So, Mr. Gupta, he's a Googler who works on the Google Cloud platform. You are an expert in the field of cloud computing in the metaverse. You have over 10 years of experience in the IT industry and are passionate about using cloud computing to enable businesses to innovate and grow. So, over to you, Nitin. Stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me for this session. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes,
Yes,
Nitin.
Nitin.
Okay, and is my camera also on?
We can't see
Ye-
you.
Oh, you can't see it? Okay, fine. Okay, here I am. Okay,
Glad to see you, Nitin.
glad to see you all. Okay. So I'm just starting my presentation, and I mean, yes, the demo was really, fantastic, and it does have potential to solve a lot of problems, or the use cases which were talked about. Uh, Building on it, Google, is not something, which is new to India. I'm sure everyone on a daily basis has been using, one or the other services of Google, and all of these services are nothing but being, heavily powered by AI. Nothing without AI would have really worked and would have served, the purpose. Whether you look at Google search, which is like the default search. If you have kind of find anything on internet, that's the search you get, and you see the response time are in milliseconds. We are, I mean, Android, Maps has taken to the next level of AI or Metaverse, where now we are launching a very real-time view on the map itself, like a street view, which you kind of see when you walk. That level of AI will be available. You would, on your map, you will be actually experience a very similar view, a reality view, which is on the street, maybe looking at shops, banners, the entire road will be visible in a real time. So that's something which is happening very soon. You have YouTube, so much of content is being uploaded. It's being served to billions of people, daily. And then, everything of these 9 services is powered by the Google Cloud, which is serving all these services across the globe. So over a billion user actually access, these services on a daily basis. And I'm not sure, if you have noticed these services having any glitch or they're not being available. In the deepest of town, whether it is tier 3, tier 4 city, you have access to YouTube content. You have Android phone on which you can access internet. Maps are available. Gmail is the default when it comes to people having personal email IDs. All of them are being, powered at scale, and with the intervention of AI, it has been getting better and better and more personal. So with that, I will just get to the technology part of it. I just gonna talk about, all of this infrastructure, all of these services which you just saw on the previous slide are powered by our data centers, which are spread across the globe. And the internet, your green lines which you are seeing are the undersea cable, which are being owned by Google, to ensure there is a minimum level of latency. And the blue lines are the one which are our network from the partners, telecom companies, which are redundant, and to ensure that, any traffic, any volume, can be served seamlessly across the globe. So in India, particularly if I talk about, in India, we have a presence in 2 locations. To considering the data sovereignty, requirements for Government of India, that all data has to be stored in India and it can't leave the Indian jurisdiction at any case. We have in Mumbai and we are in Noida. So these are the 2 regions, we call them regions. Each region has multiple availability zone, which have redundant power, which have, any man-made failure, these availability zones can handle, and they will continue to serve. Even if one availability zone goes down, the other one will continue to function. For natural disasters, we are having 2 regions, one in Mumbai and one in Noida, to ensure that any natural disaster, which is earthquake or which is, floods or anything of that kind, can be, mitigated, and your data always remains available and it never gets destroyed or gets unavailable. So that's how we've been serving the Indian market, Indian government, to ensure, all the data policy security has been maintained. from the and this is what exactly I talked about. You have, and both are Ministry of IT impaneled, by the way, because this is again one of the requirements that to kind of engage with government, we need to have these data centers to be MITI impaneled. So both of them are, and then they are serving the services which are related to compute databases. We have Intel, in our region, powered some of the highest capability machines, where you have 128 virtual CPUs or maybe more virtual CPUs with 4 gigs of RAM in a single virtual machine. And then you have capabilities of NVIDIA, which is GPUs, which is needed for application which we saw just before, or a simulation, because it need high computational power. And to get those computational power on a click of a button, that's the way the whole AI has been being revolutionized, being made available to the people, not only to the enterprises but to everyone in the industry. Even if a college student need and he has a great idea where he wants to process data, and he only wants to use it for an hour or so, he can get that huge computational power for that much period, and he only pays for that. He does not really need to worry about, okay, from where will he get that sort of a hardware for his labs, and whether he will be able to demonstrate what idea he has. So this is the revolution, which is happening, and where things are becoming more and more doable, and it is getting into the hands of people, who can really make it work. From the from a functional point of view, these services are categorized into the platform services, data management services, API management.
I guess we lost him. Nitin, we lost you in between. And I guess you're on mute right now.
Muted me, maybe somebody muted me. Okay, so I don't know where you lost me, but I was just saying that on the services are categorized into functional services, like which are insights platform, smart analytics, data management, API, application platform. See, the whole idea of these services being exposed over the cloud is, today you would not need to build these services grounds up. If you have a business case or a use case you want to solve, you just do mostly a plug and play, and you get the outcome. You don't have to really, like the whole LLM thing. You have a choice of using an open source LLM, but then you have today availability of Vertex AI, which has Gen AI as a platform, which is a open source based LLM, but it is fine tuned to meet the requirements which anybody will have to start with, and then you can further build and train the model on your own data set, and you can get the output, and focus on your output rather than you focus on the underlying platform. So that's the way we, the whole AI revolution, or the whole transformation things are happening, that it used to take so much of time before. Now it is almost plug and play. So that's what the the focus is, that how do I make these AI services available in the hands of developers, users, then only it will come to life. Otherwise, if it stays with some big enterprises or powerful houses, then it does not really get to where it has to serve the purpose. So simple examples, right? You take a exit, and then you show a phone and which has a translation services, it starts translating. It's that simple. It's an edge computing. It does not even need to go to onto the cloud. Your phone itself has the possibility of doing conversion. So these are some of the AI services, which we have, and these AI services are, as I said, are almost plug and play. it does not need much of a setup, and you can just bring your data, you start your algorithm, and you kind of spin instances on which you start processing data, and you start seeing results. So basically, these are the underlying engines, which is like your machine learning engine, your data proc engine. You have TPUs available, GPUs available. All of this capacity, as I said, it's plug and play. You have frameworks like TensorFlow available. You don't have to really wait and install TensorFlow and then you find, and one day you start writing your use case on it. You have a pre-installed available TensorFlow. You just need to get to the code, start your notebook, and you start writing to it. You have Spark available. So all of this is being available as platforms as a service, and you just have to focus on your data sets and your algorithms, which you will write to kind of get the outcomes. So how does it how it is becoming easier for developers? That, as I said, we are now have these APIs which are categorized. Some people were asking that, okay, can inside the metaverse, you can check the emotions. Then that's basically a vision API, which will kind of understand how the person is reacting or how serious he is about the particular lecture he is hearing. We're seeing so many use cases now coming in, wherein from a camera, somebody wants to kind of look at the attentiveness of the students who are sitting in a class, and can find out the effectiveness of the trainer as well. Are these people who is being trained or being coached are being really serious, or is the quality of the classroom is good or not? All of these can happen automatically, and you can get a summary sort of a thing that, okay, how effective was the class overall, and are the people or the students were positive about what being coached to them. So you have language APIs today, because of the virtue of Google has access to so many data set across India, dialects where people are using our voice services on phone. We've been able to kind of capture that information and make it better and give it back to the people to use. So you have so many Indian languages available on which the data can be translated, and in local dialects, because the model is getting inputs from devices, from web, and we are making those model even better and giving it back for the users to kind of have their own use cases built on it, whether it is natural language processing, whether it is text to speech, speech to text. Your recommendation engine like Google search, when you have such a recommendations comes to you, what you're looking at, like you are feeling lucky, and then you get what you are exactly looking. That's the recommendation engine. And if that recommendation engine, which is being trained on the Google search data set and can be made available in private, previewed in a private instance to you, which is where you will run your data sets on it and you allow recommendations to happen, it can really do wonders, because that model has been trained on billions of searches, and the model is now being made available to you so that it can really only work on your data set and you can get the outcome, because you may not want to share your data across with everyone, and it's just your application, your platform, but the model is coming trained to you. Yeah, so the Vision API, easy to do object recognitions, facial sentiment analysis, logos, it can extract text, OCR, it's so much of data is available today with government and enterprises, which is kept on a paper. And for long-term retention, either it has to be digitized and it has to be, stored for long-term purpose. Accuracy levels are now up to the level of 95-97% accuracies are being delivered, and on that you can further fine tune, to make sure that the data sets are being read accordingly. If it's a bill, electricity bill, then the model knows that it's the electricity bill. On the left hand side, you will see the bill ID. On the right hand side, you will see the name and blah blah blah. So it knows how to read an electricity bill. It knows how to read a patient prescription. It knows how to kind of differentiate between a court order. So these are made available to you. You don't have to train this now that okay, this is a court order. This has to be read in a way. The model itself is available. You need to just fine tune with your specifics that okay, this is particularly you are looking in this document. You plug and play that part, and it starts behaving and starts kind of giving you output what you're looking for. Yeah, video intelligence. Today people wants to kind of do what I was saying from a video. They want to capture the attentiveness of the students. They want to check the effectiveness of the trainer. All of this is possible. Within the video you are searching. Like today, you just go on YouTube and you say subtitle on, and it starts transcribing for you automatically. It's not that the subtitle was available and it is just being turned on. In videos, those subtitles were never there, but it is in real time happening, speech to text, net accuracy, which is 99% or more. Yeah. So all of this is happening, and is being available to the people. I think that's again and again, the scale which we are getting to. The speech APIs, which I was talking about. Dialects are very, very, difficult to kind of, get. Maybe somebody speaks Hindi in a certain way, somebody speaks in a certain way with a different dialect. How do you understand that, and how do you process it, and how do you give it back in the same dialect is the key. And if you have to kind of, start writing those open source model by yourself, it will be so tough. You need to have these services, which you can just simply plug and play. Maps, like the way you have it guides you, right? And it's being now at least a decade since maps are available, and you be being guided by turn left, right, all of that happening. And how it was a challenge for Google, when this whole project came in, that how do we have a language which is so common for everyone to understand, and these words are being easily understood. Lot of trials happened, and this is something not many would know. Globally it has been recognized that the Australian accent in English is the most easiest and most common in terms of when it has to be understood and to be listened. So we had this lady which you all see, is from Australia, and she is now at Google, and she has given the language and or the voice, which is what we all kind of follow when we are driving. And then it has been made, a number of sequence of words have been come together, and all of this is being recorded. And when you take a turn, everything comes seamlessly. It does not sound like somebody a recorded video. It is all seems like a very natural thing. Somebody on the other side is speaking as it knows the way. So natural language APIs, again, it is so difficult to kind of process data, which is all unstructured and in different languages, and you kind of have to come out with a tone. You have certain things written and it can be read just like that, but what is the sentiment behind that particular paragraph is what needs to be understood. So those natural languages are available, and APIs are available. And today, I don't know how many people know, but Gen AI, which is the Google LLM, is being made available in public preview. So users can simply create a free GCP account, Google account, and can find that service in that catalog of services, and start uploading your documents, and start interacting and find the model and fine tune the model, to get the outcomes which you're looking for. So that service is being made available in India as well. So it is for now free. You can just go and spin up your account and start using it. Then is your translation APIs. As I said, multiple languages to multiple languages across India. In India, multiple languages. I think we do around 25, 28 languages. And globally, it is 100 plus languages which we can translate from each other. And these are again available, at scale. So for now, this is where I wanted to kind of, touch and give you a sense of what Google is doing in terms of the AI and how it is actually powering the whole metaverse experiences which you just saw, and how easy it will be going forward for people to kind of come up with the use cases without investing time in the whole plumbing job and rather focused on the outcome which they're looking for. So thank you so much, team, for giving me this opportunity to share my views on the entire metaverse experiences and what's Google role in it. Happy to take questions, and in case anybody wants to, have a follow-up on a one-on-one conversation, I'm sure my email can be provided, and I can be in touch with them. Thank you again.
All right. It was very informative, Nitin, and thank you so much for sharing your views with us. Before we move to the next speaker, we have received a query in the chat box if you would like to pick it up. So the query is, how is network connectivity ensured on a moving platform? Is it a based GPS or is it a based on GSM? If so, how is network outage handled? As in certain areas, there's no network connectivity.
Yeah, I mean, so if there is no network connectivity, I think today, there's no alternative to it. You can only go back to satellite for communication, right? But the use case which I showed you on camera, you have a facility to translate. Similarly, the edge computing is the only answer. Today, you have these edge devices which are powered by high computational, compute and CPUs and RAM. You can technically do everything while you are on your device itself. Like you have possibility of downloading a map on your device, and then you don't need a network. You can simply navigate, even if you're completely offline. So in the coming days, you will see your edge devices, your end consumer devices are becoming more and more and more advanced, and there will be very less dependencies where your data has to actually go back to the cloud for processing. You can have a video, which can simply do the edge computing and can only send the relevant frame to the cloud, and rest it can reject. Why unnecessarily store everything, which is not relevant? So yes, I mean, there's no alternative to the network connectivity, but edge computing is the answer. And yes, the platform will need a GPS connectivity.
Thank you so much, Nitin, for answering the question. With that, we would like to move to the next speaker in line. And the next speaker in line we have is Mr. Hansraj Rami, again from ChainCode Consulting. He's an expert in the metaverse methodologies and digital solutions. Hansraj's expertise in designing and leveraging technology will provide practical perspectives to our discourse. So over to you, Hansraj, and stage is all yours.
Okay, thanks, Neha, and hello, everyone. Okay, so before we start, let me quickly introduce. So I am Hansraj Rami, and I am associated with ChainCode Consulting from more than last 3 years. And I am lead blockchain engineer here and helping client enhancing their businesses with emerging technologies, especially blockchain, from the inception to the production. Okay, so let me quickly share my screen. Okay, so is my screen visible?
Yes, Hansraj.
Okay, thanks, Neha. So before we even start the presentation, let me share my quick thought, like how the future of railway tourism will look like. So India has a very rich heritage when it comes to the Indian railway network and how it came into the existence. So as we all know, Indian Railways ki first ride, which happened in April 16, 1853. So this was the first passenger train which has covered the distance of 34 kilometers and which went from Mumbai's Bori Bandra station to the Thane. But now just imagine that we can have virtual ride of the trains and we can have immersing feeling like we are traveling in the train and we can feel those all beautiful views, mountains, farms, forest, lakes. This all we can feel virtually. So yes, this can be the future. And believe me, when the first metaverse ride of Indian Railway will happen, we all will be part of it. Okay, so with that note, let me start my presentation. So in this session, I will focus on how Metaverse can help in the Indian Railway tourism. So Indian Railway tourism itself can have many sides and can have many aspects to discuss, but considering the time limitation as well, I will highlight the two aspects for now. One is the entertainment side and another is the safety side. Okay. If we even see the tourism industry, and to make this example more interesting, let's consider one example. Let's say we can build a digital clone or digital copy of the Indian railway system. Like whatever Indian railway system is now as a wall, we can make a digital copy, like the railway tracks, the trains, the locomotives, and the railway stations, and all the other everythings which are component of the Indian railway system. We can make a digital clone of it. And for example, let's call it Indian railway system in the metaverse, which can provide us immersive and interactive experience and to the tourist as well through the generated three-dimensional images that user can feel that he is surrounded by, and also allows user to deeply engaged in a particular activity or a particular interest, and they can also interact with the same. If we are discussing all of this like few years before, it was still like an imagination, but nowadays with the cutting edge and emerging technologies and with the fast pace, the way the technology is evolving, this all can be possible. And actually this is happening, and this can be the near future for the Indian Railway as well. Okay, so now highlighting the way Metaverse can help, considering the entertainment side of the tourism. So we can't deny the fact that one of the best ways to see the India is through the Indian Railway, because railway covers the most of the part of the India. And if we introduce the metaverse for the Indian Railway, it can be the huge impact. So if we see the first option, the virtual destination exploration, and someone from the attendees has already asked the question that I got yesterday. Someone already asked the related question in advance, that how metaverse in the Indian Railway can enhance the passenger journey. So this can be the possible answer also for the same, that metaverse allows travelers to virtually explore destination before they can even visit them physically. And with these virtual tours and their immersive experiences, tourists can get a realistic preview of the tourist attraction, the landmark, what hotels are around the locations, and what are the other near places or the cultural sites that they can visit along the way. And this also help tourists in planning and in decision making of their tour, which allows them to have better understanding of the places they are visiting and if they are aligned with their preferences or not. And next, how Metaverse can help in the tourism is immersive railway experience. Metaverse can recreate immersive and interactive of well-known Indian railway journeys, like user can virtually board trains. They can experience all the sounds, the beautiful sights like lakes, forests, mountains, and even the ambience of the different coaches as well. And they can also learn about the history and the significance of each train routes. And of course, coming to the next point, this can also help in the cultural preservation and the promotion. And one of the attendees has already asked the question in advance, the related question, like how the metaverse will fold or enhance the government in terms of revenue. So this is how it can help, that metaverse can enable preservation and promotions of cultural heritage, that anyone from the any place of the world, not the necessarily from India, can feel the virtual exhibitions, also our cultural showcases, which highlights our history, our traditions, and our various cultural artifacts, which makes people from other country as well to visit our cultural places, and also makes them to travel through the Indian railways. And this also helps in encouraging and sustaining our culture and preserving the same for our next generations. And metaverse can also help in collaborative and personalized travel planning for the tourist, that metaverse can offer collaborative and personalized travel experience, that just imagine that we can have a virtual travel agent, like there can be like digital avatar in front of you, that you can talk to them, and that avatar can help you to have tailored recommendations about the places that you want to travel as per your preferences and as per your interest. And this also facilitates the collaborations and also the community building among the travelers. This way, different individuals can also connect with each other. They can share their travel experiences with each other. They can exchange also the travel tips, or they can also seek advices from the fellow travelers. And this sense of community can help enhance the overall travel experience in the Indian railway tourism, and can also help in build the supportive community network. And other than this, we have seen many times that if you want to have any inquiry, that in many old railway stations, we still have to stand up in a row. But in the metaverse, we can have virtual support window. You can just connect through your device, and you can talk to the digital avatar about your inquiries. You can ask them a question, and they will be intelligent enough using the AI technology that they can solve all of your inquiries related to Indian Railways. And last, but not the least, is metaverse can also help in sustainable tourism alternative, as metaverse is capable to offer virtual alternatives of the physical travel, and this can also help in reducing the carbon footprint associated with the transportation. Okay, so now if we move next, and if you consider the safety side of the railway tourism as well, and to make it truthful, let's consider an example like in the previous slide, we took an example of a digital clone or digital copy of the whole railway system. But let's add on one more flavor on top of it, that the current railway system, which is in real, is in sync in real time with the virtual railway system, the metaverse railway system. Okay, so the main benefit is before making any changes in the actual railway system or the actual railway track or railway system as a whole, we can use the metaverse like this digital copy to test and validate the entire network, which can also help in enabling continuous improvement and deployment of new vehicles, new locomotives for the new railway tracks. Other than safety, it may also maximize the operations efficiency and also operation speed, along with the overall comparatively reduced cost and the unnecessarily damage. Now, coming back to the safety, that this kind of events may happen like on the track due to like any unexpected events, either nature or the other surroundings. Like this may happen that कोई बड़ा सा पेड़ हो ट्रैक पे आके गिर जाए, yeah, if there is like a mountain around, there can be a chances that there are like big stones may come on the way. So though we can predict as per the like the surroundings, but we can also detect this in advance to avoid this kind of unexpected accident, the collision and congestion as well. I will also highlight the event that is like recently happened. Someone also asked a related question. I will get back to that later. But if this all looks like a Hollywood movie or like a hypothetical example, so yes, if we see the past few years back, it was, but now there are like cutting edge technologies like we can build the 3D pipelines of the Indian railway systems. And nowadays there are also like open 3D frameworks available nowadays to build universal scene view. And also with the 5G and its high internet speed enabled sensors and 5G edge microcells to share data about the events in real time. Beyond all of this, we can achieve one more thing on top of this as well, like fully automated railway system. Without this metaverse digital copy, Indian Railway is like a very huge system. So it is very daunting task to train AI model based on the real world railway system by collecting data points from many different places. But this digital copy is sufficient, and as it is digital, it will be comparatively easy to collect data. So we can train an AI model to make this railway system completely autonomous, and we can build fully automated railway ecosystem. And also the implementation of somewhat similar is already in plan by the German railway system as well. And now I will go to the questions that we got in advance yesterday from the attendees. So someone has asked like how the payment will be taken on Metaverse while booking the tickets. And there is also like another question as well, and answer can be the same. So I will answer collectively. That can passenger purchase the ticket in the Metaverse as well? So to support this statement, like Metaverse is nothing but the digital system, like the traditional digital system as well. But on top of it, Metaverse is immersive as well as interactive. So yes, we can integrate any digital payment system, and also like the way we can buy tickets with traditional digital system. We can do the same with the Metaverse as well, and also we can do the verification of the tickets. Okay, so it looks like funny to me as well, but yeah, it's possible that you can buy tickets in the virtual world and you can travel in the physical world. And one more question I would like to highlight, and thanks to the one who have asked this question as well. And before I answer the question, I want to express my deepest condolences to all those who are affected by the devastating event. And before answering the question, I might be the wrong as well, though I have done my proper due diligence from the news and from the internet, like how this event was happened. So just I would like to share the capability of the Metaverse and how it can help to prevent such devastating event. So as per my knowledge about the event, and this event happened due to the signaling error in the electronic interlocking system. The main reason is that the point was set to the loop line and the signal was set for the main line. So rather than travel through the main line, train traveled over the loop line, which is the cause of the accident to happen. Okay, and now coming back to the answer, like how metaverse can help. So the one example that I have highlighted in this whole session, that there can be a digital copy of the Indian railway system, and which is in real time synchronization of the real world railway system. So let's suppose that some engineer has set the point. Let's say he has set for the even for the main line or the loop line. So at a point, let's say someone has set the point for the, let's say, loop line. The same thing can also happen in real time in the metaverse railway system as well. And we can run a simulations in the metaverse that before even train reach to the actual place, we can run a simulation in the advance that like whatever point was set, if train will travel through the same track, if there are any possibilities of the accidents or not. So this way we can prevent this kind of attack as well. And also, like, this is not a hypothetical example, because International Agency of Atomic Research is also using the virtual reality, like these kinds of simulations, to prevent attacks in their nuclear research as well. Now, to conclude this, I would like to say a few things that when we started using internet, we are just sharing text-based content, and now we have started sharing images and videos, and it became visual, and recently it became the immersive and interactive as well. But this is not the end. Evolution of the internet and the technology is forever, and this will unlock lots of amazing experiences for the Indian railway system as well. Yeah. Okay. So thanks everyone, and thanks to the ChainCode Consulting as well for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Hansraj.
Thank you so much, Hansraj. And with that, we'll be moving to the next round of this webinar. Towards the end of it, we are picking the questions which we have already gathered from the audience. And I'll request all the speakers to be here to answer those queries. So if the team can help me to have all the speakers on the stage on the screen, and Hansraj, if you can stop sharing your screen, I'll be able to see all the speakers. Yeah. So the very first query which we have received is, how can the metaverse be used to improve public perception and trust in government institutions? So any one of you who would like to pick this question and would like to answer? Any of the speaker? Mr. Kulkarni, would you like to pick this question?
No, I mean, since this topic was all about metaverse and its application to workforce training, so I think I would want to kind of look at that paradigm of what does it mean from a workforce skilling training perspective, and what are the efforts that are being made in that direction. And the challenge that we always have in India is that how do you scale something that you do, and how can you use a combination of technology and experience to bring about a planned change is what I think will build that trust with both the government and with the public.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kulkarni. And before I jump to the another question, I'll request all the speakers to switch on the camera so that the audience can see you. So, Shriyank, Vishal, Hansraj, if you can switch on the cameras, please. Thank you so much. So I just received a question in the chat box, and it is related to the simulation of the freight wagon. So the query is, if all the parameters are sensor based, then will the metaverse will have any additional benefit beyond simple computing? So who would like to pick this question?
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, Vishal, you may go ahead.
Can you please repeat the question again?
It's there in
So
the
the
chat,
question,
Vishal.
it's there in the chat box, but then let me repeat it for you. So the question is related to the simulation of freight wagon. If all the parameters are sensor based, then will the metaverse will have any additional benefit beyond simple computing?
Yeah, definitely. So actually, when everything is sensor based and everything is connected, then the concerned person will be able to just like directly go inside any of the moving train and see the actual details of the parcel or the box or any freight which is passing from one place to another place. And if he or she wants to get the overview, then that could also be got from the screen itself. But it will give you one more dimension to just uh, go inside the freight container and then view the particular box or view the details related to that particular box.
So in the same scenario, you just don't have to follow the statistics because everything is, presented in simulation environment. So suppose hypothetically, if container number 3 has any issues, any irregular activities, then you can, like any responsible person can view the simulation. The animation will be going like, just we have presented in the video. One cinematic simulation will be happening where it can bring down the responsible person to container number 3 and directly highlight the particular box that this box has some irregular activities. So, like they just have to transfer the specific information only. Now they don't have to, follow the statistics or so once they are like nearby any railway station or something, then yeah, they know like they need to go on container number 3 on this train number. And this is the box like which has having some issues. So this is how we are visualizing.
Answer your question.
So leading to this question,
One
Vishal,
moment,
we have received.
sorry for interrupting. Just to support the statement of the Vishal as well. So yeah, we are also heavily using sensor nowadays, but the what Metaverse is adding on top of it, it is the simulation that rather than spending the actual resources, we can use the simulation to test and do the proper validations, rather which can also help in cost savings rather than spending the actual resources.
Yes.
That's
And
great.
can definitely give us the trust. Like your question was first question was like how people can trust the governance when it comes to metaverse. So if we are following some this kind of security protocols which are having the technological integration of IoT sensors and metaverse, then definitely any business will rely on our services. Like that if my goods and carriage are going with Indian Railway, then yes, it's quite safe, and they can like do the real time tracking as well. Even we can give some rights to provider, like provider or business person like whose container is going on. It's not just limited with Indian railway system, but they can definitely allow some rights to particular businessmen, like whether if they want to track their particular container, so yes they can. So it's all about trust and authenticity in the services.
Yeah. And providing product provenance when the product reaches at the destination station, increasing the quality and the value associated behind the product, certifying
Right.
that too.
So leading to the same question, Vishal, we have received one more question. Are the sensors tested and tried in railway working environment?
Not yet. It's just like one apparatus demo that can be implemented. See, this kind of stuff require more R&D, more brainstorming session. We need to like have multiple discussions with Indian Railway team as well, because we presented the demo on the details that we know right about the Indian Railway, but on ground level we need to understand some more scenarios, some more actual problem statement. But yeah, there is a possibility that it can be done because we knew that how to make this entire solution with IoT devices, and we know how to integrate this entire thing with metaverse as well.
And also to answer your question, that these sensors are feasible enough or not. So in real life also there are different ratings like IP56 or IP68. Those kind of rated sensors or rated things which we can use into our hardware, which we going to create, and we can map those rated hardwares with the metaverse. So it's feasible, because at the end, in actual world also this kind of hardware is being used. So if you can go to any of the signal that also contains some specific hardware, so that signals, that any of the signal also have hardware which is rated, so like rated hardware could be integrated into this.
And this is not a new problem. See, already, multiple logistic providers are using the same technology. Okay, like trucks, if any particular truck is going on, and just like courier service as well, like Flipkart and Amazon, then they are having the smart lock already in it, where, they can just, tap on particular lock, and only particular person have that particular card. Or else, if they don't want to, open this container by card, then what they can do is like admin can give the rights to particular person, driver or something, once they are arrived at destination. So this is already happening. But yeah, about Indian Railways, we haven't tested in their environment. Otherwise, in logistic industry, it's already going on.
Well, thank you. So the other query which I'm picking is, can passengers purchase tickets in Metaverse?
I think Hansraj did answer that.
Yeah, I already answered it. So yeah, we can.
Okay, that's great. With that, moving to the another one. So it is, as a passenger, what all possibilities do we have with Metaverse in railways?
Okay. Yeah, Vishal, you can go ahead. Yeah. So though
There
I
are
have like covered many things in my presentation as well. Yeah, but Vishal, you may go ahead. Yeah.
right. So already know, like we are already taking few initiative towards technology. But suppose like if any foreigner are coming in India, if they want to see like how does the Delhi metro like railway station looks like, then we can definitely make digital twin of entire railway station. We can cover the entire process, what the TC, like what will be the location of office from where you can collect the tickets on how train will look like. We can definitely put some schedule in it, so it
Mhm.
can be a smooth experience. It's not just limited with foreigners, but in India, children are very unaware about Indian Railways. How does it function? Right? They don't know like where is the police is, sitting in bogie and in which container, and which kind of different offices are there. How we should buy the tickets. So it's not just about buying tickets, but giving the entire experience as well as the education about Indian Railways. So like every Indian citizen or like abroad citizen can have very good immersive experience through the metaverse, that I believe.
Yeah. Tour of iconic stations and railway legacies, properties which are relevant to general public could be simulated, and yeah, the users can dwell into that experience and understand exactly before moving to the actual physical stations where the essential services are located. Something like may I help you kind of a thing, which we used to have earlier.
Okay. So the next question we have is, will India be using its own server and team, or external companies will be used to contribute work towards the metaverse in railway?
Yeah, of course. I mean, today there are options uh, uh, using servers from. I mean, most often compute is provisioned from the global OEM players like HP, Dell, Cisco. But there is, because of the push from the government and the Make in India initiatives, there is a lot of capability that is being built in the country for building servers in the country. And you have players like VVD and Sirma, Sanmina. You have quite a few players now that have their own SMT lines for production of local India built servers. and although a lot of it is today, the board design, especially for servers, is happening elsewhere, and they are being assembled here. But very soon you will have ground up design happening in India, and there's a big push from the government to make it happen. And Intel is also supporting this initiative 200% to build the Make in India ecosystem.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kulkarni, for answering it. And thanks to all the speakers for taking out time from your schedule and sharing us insights of the metaverse and its application. Though we have received multiple questions related to the metaverse, but because of the time press, we may not be able to cover all the queries. And we would quickly like to jump towards the closure of this event. For that, I'll request Mr. Vijay Malviya from the NAIR team to come up and share a few things with us. So over
Thank
to you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes. What a educative session it was. Definitely so insightful and learning. Thank you, Neha, for giving me the opportunity to give vote of thanks. Respected sirs, esteemed speakers, and my dear friends, I hope you enjoyed the session thoroughly. It is with great pleasure that I extend my sincere thanks to the distinguished speakers who graced our webinar with their wisdom and insights. Nitin Gupta from Google, Shriyang from Polygon, Anand Kulkarni ji from Intel, Hansraj and Vishal from CCL. Your contributions have truly enriched our virtual gatherings. A special appreciation goes to remarkable Ms. Neha, our event host, for skillfully guiding our discussions and ensuring a captivating experience for all. Thank you, Neha. I would also like to express my deep appreciation to the tireless CCL event management and IT support team who worked diligently behind the scenes to orchestrate this extraordinary show. To our enthusiastic participants, I extend my thanks for your active engagement and patient attention throughout this exhilarating journey into the world of Metaverse. Your curiosity and open minds have made this experience even more rewarding. Gratitude also extends to the administration of the National Academy of Indian Railways, our Deputy Director General, my dedicated staff, who have been instrumental in supporting this endeavor. Our collaboration with ChainCode Consulting has yielded remarkable results, as evidenced by our previous on-campus workshop on blockchain and its implementation in IR. With the participation of nearly 100 esteemed officers, we distributed pioneering digital NFT certificates, granting practical exposure to blockchain and emerging technologies. And this time too, we are doing that. Your enthusiastic reception has inspired us to embrace these innovative developments, allowing us to overcome challenges and bottlenecks with confidence. For this exceptional webinar, I am delighted to announce that all registered participants will receive digital NFTs, courtesy ChainCode Consulting, and its visionary leadership team, CEO Alok Gupta and Chief Technical Officer Narendra Shukla. I extend my sincere appreciation for your magnanimous gesture, and I eagerly anticipate continuing our engagement to deliver transformative sessions that forge a new tech world within the Indian Railways. That's what we need today. The solutions will come through technology only. In conclusion, I express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us on this captivating journey into the Metaverse.